I
Yeah.
want to go out and go get things. And, whether it's 2 months without a deal and then I get a couple, it is what it is. But it's that roller coaster that guys really, you learn in baseball that, there's so many ups and downs in this game that, like, when life throws you a curveball, you're just like, cool, we'll swing and miss, or I'm going to hit it out of the park.
This is Biz Ninja Entrepreneur Radio with your host, Tyler Jorgensen.
Welcome out to Biz Ninja Entrepreneur Radio. I'm your host, Tyler Jorgensen. I've been doing this show for coming on 14 years, and one of my favorite things that I get to do is interview people who have transitioned or changed careers from one thing to another. And I feel like there's no bigger shift from being a professional athlete, a paid superstar, into a 9-to-5 grind, hustle, work it, figure it out type of entrepreneur. And so Brandon Barnes is a friend of mine and somebody who I had the privilege of working with over the years on a previous business. And I've watched as he's transitioned from athlete and chasing that dream into building other businesses and stepping into helping other people grow. And it's just been such a cool thing to watch. So Brandon, welcome out to the show. Super glad you're here.
No, man, I'm stoked to be here. I'm always glad to speak with you and just have fun.
In 14 years, you are the first person on the show that is hit for the cycle in Major League Baseball. So that's something.
Yeah, it's a pretty special feat. It's pretty lucky.
My favorite, though, is your Inside the Parker. I think that one's my favorite of your highlight reel.
Yeah, that's one of my tops as well. The one in San Francisco was unreal.
Yeah. So, Brandon, you were a Major League Baseball player and had some really cool plays for some great teams. The only team that you played for that I had the hat and would wear it is Colorado. I wouldn't wear a Houston hat, but and I wouldn't wear the normal colorway. I'll wear alt colorways for you.
Yeah.
But, man, walk us through a little bit of your story. How long you chased that dream, how long you got to play and experience that, and then what made you start moving into other things?
Yeah, I started playing baseball when I was 4. In high school, I was more of a football player than I was a baseball player. Actually quit baseball my senior year of high school because I had a full ride scholarship to UCLA. That ended up falling through, so I decided to quit football, walk on at a junior college to play baseball, led by faith, and made the team. I was a freshman All-American, went into the Hall of Fame there, and then got drafted in the 6th round that year. And then that's when the true grind started, right? Like, I played 7.5 years in the minor leagues before I ever got an opportunity to play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't that good. That's why I didn't get that opportunity. I had some things to work on, and it took a long time to figure it out. But I'm just grateful for the opportunities that they gave me to keep working on it, because a lot of guys don't get those opportunities. And I just wanted to just live out my dream. So when I got to the major leagues in, I think that was like 2012 in August, dude, it was special, man. It was just an awesome moment to be able to spend with my wife and my daughter and my dad and my best friend. And then, got to Houston, played there for a year and a half, got traded to Colorado, was there for 3 years, and then kind of just bounced around after that. But got to play in South Korea, Venezuela, Mexico, Australia. I got to live the dream.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think baseball is one of those unique sports where with the minor league system, it's such a developmental program that really the part I love about it is that you have the ability to continue to get better. I think some people get lost in that. And I think that's different in other sports where if you can't make it right at the beginning, it's unlikely you're ever going to, right? There's not a big minor league development football program. And so what did you learn during that era of 7.5 years of just learning and growing? How do you apply that same mentality into what you're working on now?
Yeah, man, failure, the fear of failure was huge, right? I was always so scared to fail because I thought if I failed, I'd get cut, I'd get released. But you learn that. I mean, baseball's a game of failure. You're going to fail. The best players in the game fail 7 out of 10 times and become Hall of Famers over a 10-year period. So, learning to fail and learn from those failures was a big one. The discipline that you have to stay on your routine every single day and do the things that a lot of people don't want to do, right? Like I didn't get to see my family for months at a time. That was a sacrifice I made. Waking up early to hit the gym, train, get everything done before I even head to the field. Fear of failure, discipline, sacrifice, and just putting it all together has really helped me transition into life after sport, business, entrepreneurship. I think I started in entrepreneurship when I was still playing. So I never wanted to work for anybody. A 9 to 5 was never my style. I'm a baseball player.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I love your attitude towards failure and discipline. I think that's super powerful. And so what is it that you're working on now? I know you've got a couple of different irons in the fire. So talk us through those.
Yeah, man. So when we moved out to Idaho, I got into real estate. I love it. I love the aspect of like building generational wealth, helping people get into their first home or their forever home, maybe their dream home. It's a special moment when you get to hand the keys off to people. And then, about 6 months ago, we got into a new venture. It's a new platform for athletes called Athlete Narrative. It's pretty much a PR company in the palm of these athletes' hands. We take care of their social media. We give them pretty much the captions and the SEO optimized hashtags. And all they have to do is correlate it to a picture or video or reel, however they want to do it. We have technology that builds this around them and who they are. So that's a big thing we're working on right now. It's a big push for us. I do some stuff, through Instagram where I like to give back. I like to help. Obviously, my faith is really big to me. So, helping young men, become stronger, mentally better, that discipline aspect, I think it goes a long way in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah. And I think it's neat what you guys are doing with Athlete Narrative. There's such a shift in the overall marketplace right now with all the NIL things happening, all the changes where college athletes can actually make money, and really the importance of becoming your own brand is stronger than ever. So and it sounds like that's a lot what you guys help them do, is make sure that they're staying visible, building their brand. What are some of the common challenges that athletes face when it comes to this kind of stuff, like their social media and that sort of thing?
Yeah, man. A lot of us just want to be athletes. I mean, that's what we do. We're athletes. We're not, social media gurus. Obviously, I've been in social media for a long time, so I understand it. But a lot of guys, they just want to play the game. And so they have social media accounts, but they're on and off of it, so they can't really build a brand. They'll post once a week. One will be like them playing, and then one will be their dog. That's not a brand, right? So when I built my brand over my career, it really helped me get deals and offers from companies that I still have in contact with today that send me stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of these guys, it's they don't want to put in the work, right? And so that's what we do. We put in the work for them. All they do is post it and it's done. We've got some targeting and stuff like that behind our technology. But a lot of it is guys just, it's extra work that they don't want to do. It's just like any business. You got to put in the work if you want to build the brand.
Absolutely. And I think more than ever right now, having a brand and being a celebrity within your own sphere of influence or in your own niche, right, is more powerful than it ever has been. The ability to launch brands, launch things when you already have a platform of an audience is pretty significant. What's your take on, kind of how all of this change has happened? You were only in college sports, what, a year?
Yeah.
So that wasn't a huge play for you, but a lot of these guys that go all 4 years, and it's a big thing.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think it's, there needs to be some type of guideline on how much these guys can make, and then, maybe cut it at a certain number where maybe the rest of it goes into an investment where they can get it later in life, right? Like, I don't think Shedeur Sanders needs $4 million in college. Great, he's making it. I love it because I'd rather the athlete make it than the NCAA.
Right.
Because the NCAA has been making money off athletes for, 100 years now.
Yeah.
So I love it, man. I think it's awesome because now these kids can truly like live in college. Like
Yeah.
college is tough. You know, I only
Oh
went for
yeah.
a year, but like eating top ramen, mac and cheese, like how are you supposed to be a top-notch athlete eating top ramen and mac and cheese? So, you know, these guys have cars that they could drive now because dealerships are giving them the opportunity to have that. So that's what we want to do for our athletes on our platform is be able to monetize them, help them grow, and get them local deals and big deals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that there's no promise of tomorrow, especially for an athlete, right? That season or career-ending injury can happen at any minute. So I love that they can make money, and I think the importance of building the brand that can potentially transcend is so important and carry those people along. Have you seen, and this is actually something I'm super curious on, let's say that a team is considering signing somebody and they're considering between player A and player B, and all their stats are the same. All their like baseball stats, like they are the same. But one guy has 2 million followers on Instagram and the other guy has 150.
Yep.
Is that a deciding factor at this point?
100%. I was just having a conversation because I talked to a lot of scouts and college coaches, program leaders, and I was talking to one of our ambassadors. He runs this huge basketball camp out in Northern California, and they had this camp with 300 of the top high school basketball players, and the top recruited basketball player in that camp, he said, wasn't the best basketball player. This guy's going to SC making, I think, anywhere between $300,000 to $1 million a year, coming in as a freshman, which is insane.
Yeah.
And he said this kid wasn't the best player. He's like, don't get me wrong, he's an awesome player. He should be going to USC. He's like, but $1 million. And the deciding factor was he had, I believe, between all his platforms, like close to 1 million followers. And I think colleges are seeing that and be like, okay, how do we get more fans in the seats,
Yep.
right? So it's picked a guy that has a big following. They're going to follow him to SC, right? Now the college has found a way to make more money. So you're definitely seeing it. You're seeing college coaches find guys through social media now. And it's also a way that guys are going to get marked off of the list because they have stupid posts.
Yeah.
They're posting stuff that aren't on brand. They're, you know, maybe they're partying or hanging out with girls. Like as soon as the college coach sees that, you're off the list.
Right. Yeah, it's too high risk. Everything's visible now, right? And so it's not worth it. And I think what's really interesting right now with a shift is that I feel like fans now more than ever are becoming fans of athletes more than fans of teams. And there's a shift where it's like, oh, I'm a fan of that athlete, and so even if he moves to a different team or if he, you know, I'm still going to support him. I'm going to buy the new jersey. I'm going to buy those new things. Where, man, for a long time it was more the name on the front's more important than the name on the back, right?
Yep.
And I feel like this generation is shifting. And that just highlights the importance of personal brand so much.
Oh, no doubt, man. It's crazy because I still have fans and followers through social media from when I was in Colorado, when I was Houston, and that's 8 to 10 years ago, right? Still following my journey, still, you know, staying up with me, still contact me. And that's the beauty of social media, right? And doing it the right way. People get to see who I am on a daily basis now away from the game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they're just normal people like me, right? Like we're just normal people. And so they like to see that inside scoop.
Yeah. Well, and I see them comment on your posts sometimes, and they'll call out, "Oh man, we really miss your energy in the park," and so I think it's so fascinating to me now how we can, like, the ripples that we make are so much more like trackable. Where, you know, 20 years ago, if you impacted someone's life, you'd never hear them or see them again, even though you might have made an impact. But now because of the ability to stay in touch. So getting into real estate, the importance of building that network. And you didn't just decide to go into real estate and start in your local neighborhood or even start in one of the cities where you played ball. You moved.
Yeah.
To a completely new area, no professional teams. I think like minor league hockey, I think, is all you guys have, right?
Yeah, so we have minor league hockey, and then we have independent baseball, like pro league Yeah.
Yeah. What do they call those ones?
Yep.
What's that low league? Independent league, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's at least something out there. But you moved to a very different area and started from scratch. How did you start building that network from zero?
Yeah, man. The reason I got into it is, my whole thought when I was moving out here was like, okay, Idaho baseball is behind about 5 years from, most of the big states. So my whole goal, I had this thought process of like, I'm going to come out here, I'm going to build baseball up, maybe have a facility and build baseball players out here. And then I decided pretty quickly that like the coaching lifestyle and being back in the game wasn't for me. I wanted more freedom. I wanted more time freedom with my family. So I was sitting at the pool with my best friend, and he was like, dude, you want to get into real estate? He's been in real estate for, I think, 5 years now and has built this huge brand and business. And I was like, I've always been interested in it. And so I was like, yeah. He's like, go get your license. I'll bring you on. We'll start a team. And so I next day signed up for a class and went for it. It took me about 7 times to pass the test because I'm not a good test taker, but I got it done. And he was a rock star, man. I followed him everywhere. We sat down, we went over contracts. We've talked about like numbers and all these different things you got to know that, they don't really teach you in real estate class. Like
No.
90% of the things you learn in real estate class, you can just throw out.
Yep.
You got to learn on the fly and you got to learn in the industry. So being there day to day with him really helped me speed up the process.
That's probably a parallel in a lot of things, like the importance of a mentor or a coach. Obviously growing up in sports, you've always had coaches. So first question on that is, what's the difference between a mentor and a coach to you?
Yeah, so for me, a mentor is someone that's going to be there at any time, right? Like I actually mentor guys. I've been doing it for 9 years now. I've got my top kids at Texas A&M. He's killing it. He's a freshman. He's probably going to be a top draft pick here in the next couple of years. But for me, it's like anytime they need me, I'm a text, I'm a phone call away. Where a coach, like you see maybe once, twice a week, they give you the tips and tricks, but they don't really deep dive into your life, into those things like discipline and how to really put those into your day-to-day life to become the best version of yourself and the best version of a baseball player. So for me, it was just like that one-on-one that you really don't get from a coach, because coach has got 20, 30 guys that he's got to take care of, where your mentor, it's one-on-one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you saw that on teams, right? Like you'd be playing on a team, and there were probably some players who were better at being mentors and like kind of passing down wisdom. There was probably players that were closed off, right, and not wanting to share or anything. What's your take on that, right? Like in the clubhouse, sharing the secrets of the trade versus keeping everything close to your chest.
Yeah, man, baseball is that we have a brotherhood. So it's, the guys on your team, if you want to ask a question, 99% of them are going to tell you all about it, right? Now, if you're trying to take someone's job, he's probably not going to give you some tips.
Right. The same position. May ask someone other than the guy whose position you're behind, right?
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, I've played with like Hall of Famers. I've played with the best of the best. And every single one of those guys, when I had a question, 100% they would answer it, or they would push me to someone that may know the answer. And so that's how I when I got to the big leagues, I kept my mouth shut and I just asked questions and just tried to learn.
Yeah. You talk about the importance of having a healthy relationship with failure, right? Like, and the importance of discipline. Is there a story from your career that really highlights your healthy attitude towards failure? Maybe a time where you got knocked down, but you were able to, bounce back up.
Man, I probably got like 20 of those. But no, let's say, yeah, I've been knocked down. I've been so close to getting released so many different times, but I've got one where I was, my first 3 years of my career, I was an A-ball, rookie ball, then A-ball, and it's all short season. So you go to spring training, and then you go to extended spring training because you're in a short season. You're not breaking with the longer, bigger clubs. And so I did that 3 years in a row. And it's like, dude, if you do that one more time, you're going home. And so they called me in the offseason. It's like, look, you got one more chance. And so that year I went back to short season, and finally like broke out a little bit, had a good year. The following year, they brought me into early camp. I got to go to mini camp and then spring training, and I had an awesome spring training. I made the full season club. Like I was like, I'm getting out of spring training out of Kissimmee, Florida, and I get to like go play 140 games this year. And so I was like talking to the clubby. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm never gonna see you again. And he goes, don't speak too soon. And so I go out, first month of the season, grinding. I was hitting like 063 with maybe 30 strikeouts and like 50 or 60 at bats, like just struggling. And it was the day before my birthday. The minor league director had come into town. I actually got 2 hits. I hit a homer and a base hit. And then after the game, come in, I'm just chilling, eating some dinner, and they call me to the office. And they're like, look, Barnesy, we're gonna send you back to extended spring training to get more work in. We think you need to work with the hitting coach that you worked with last year. And I was like, what? Like, I got to go back for the 4th time? So, I mean, at this point, I'm like 22 years old. And so I go back, and these kids, they're like 18, 19 years old, straight out of high school, or 16 years old out of the Dominican Republic.
Right.
And I you know what? I walked out of that office, and I called my wife, and I said, I'm done. I'm going to quit. And she's like, no, you're not. Because if you come home, the doors will be locked. She's like, I haven't put up with you doing this for 4 years to just see you quit now. So she's like, suck it up, go back down, and find your way back up. And so I got to fly down to extended spring training on my birthday, worst birthday of my life. And I was back down there for maybe 3 weeks. A guy got hurt. I got called back up. Ended up having a pretty good, strong finish to the year. Repeated that league. Did it half the year, got called back up, and it was just, I started moving. And then that's when I finally
And so that was moving up from A to what? To double A, or moving up?
No, that was, so back then, now it's a little bit more condensed, but it was, you go to rookie ball, and then you go to short season A ball.
Okay.
Then you go to full season A ball.
Oh, okay.
Then you go to high A, double A, triple A, and then you can finally get to the big leagues.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I repeated every league but one.
Okay. Yeah. Man, and I think that's huge. I think, unfortunately, so many people think that success is a linear experience, right? And that it's one direction, right? But you were able to see, man, I've got to take several steps forward, often take several back, and like reassess, refigure things out. And that's actually more common in life, right? If you look at most people's like business and entrepreneurial journey, all those things, it's not just a straight rocket ship, right? And by the time we're looking as outsiders at the rocket ship, we've missed all the early ups and downs.
Oh yeah.
And so, that mindset, I think, is so important. And have there been experiences in this wave of life, like with real estate or with athlete narrative, that same kind of up and down has come back into it?
Yeah, man, real estate's a lot like baseball. It's up and down. It's like you're going to have your good months. You're going to have some bad months. You're going to have a couple bad months, that line yourself up, and you're like, hey, I really got to get a deal done. But it's just like, having faith. For me, it's faith, right? Like, I'm going to go grind. I'm going to go hustle. I'm going to go do my thing. But I can't worry about it. Like, for me, it's just like I have the faith, and he's going to take care of me, and just go do it. And it's doing the work every day. Like, I have an opportunity in real estate. You could just sit back and chill, and you don't have to go chase it. But that's not who I am. So I want to go out and go get things. And, whether it's 2 months without a deal and then I get a couple, it is what it is. But it's that roller coaster that guys really, you learn in baseball that, there's so many ups and downs in this game that, like, when life throws you a curveball, you're just like, cool. We'll swing and miss, or I'm going to hit it out of the park.
Yep. Yep. It depends how you connect, I guess.
Yep.
Well, awesome, Brandon. It's been great getting to chat with you a little bit. Hang tight. I'm going to wrap this up, and we'll come back for one more question. But highly encourage everyone to check out Brandon Barnes on social media. Check out athletenarrative.com. And we'll even link into the show notes and things, his real estate details and that sort of stuff. So, All right, we are here with Brandon Barnes. Hopefully, you've watched the entire episode. It's about a half hour. We talk through failure and discipline and the lessons from his professional baseball career and how they've applied into his into real estate, and then also how he's leveraging that to help younger athletes build their brands. And I really loved everything that we shared there, Brandon. I want you to imagine that you're sitting down with a former teammate. You guys, after you're catching up, after kind of shooting the breeze and running through fun old memories and doing all that stuff, your teammate gets a little bit quiet and he leans in and he goes, Brandon, I just feel so stuck. What is your number one piece of advice that you're going to give them to get back into momentum?
Man, first thing is I want them to know who they are. Who are you? You're not an athlete, right? You're not a baseball player anymore. It's something that I had to do. It's you take a deep look. Okay, who am I? I'm a dad. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a friend. Like, that's what gets me going nowadays. So it's like, I would tell guys, find who you are, because we're not baseball players anymore. Find who you are away from the game. Find your passion and love for something, and just go all in. Because if you don't go all in, you're not going to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, there definitely wouldn't have gotten. You can't become a pro ball player if you don't go all in. You're not going to do your next iteration of life if you're not doing the same thing, right?
Yep.
So awesome, Brandon. Super appreciate you. Hope everyone please go check out the full episode with Brandon Barnes, and have a killer day.